Dearest friends, I take special pleasure in being here at our annual Gala gathering with all of you, friends and colleagues who comprise the unique community that I'm proud to call my extended family. We're a community and a family not because of our genealogy, though as always, the families who form the backbone of NIF are well represented in this room. We are bound together by our shared ideas and shared values. It is not our identity that binds us, but our identification. Some would argue that's not Jewish enough, that we are first and foremost a tribe surrounded by enemies. Some would argue that for our tribe, there are but two choices: be persecuted or persecute others. No middle ground is possible. So say our opponents. One of them is the Israeli Minister of Settlements and National Missions, Orit Struk. July 7th, 2024. Exactly 9 months after October 7th, 9 months into the horrific war, Minister Struk visited a newly recognized West Bank settlements on a Saturday night, chatting with the settlers from the Hebron Hill area outpost Givat Hanan. She declared her delight at this period of miracles. This esteemed member of the far-right religious Zionist party felt that times were miraculous. Just as Israel legalized the largest land appropriation in the West Bank since 1993 Oslo Accord, with the legalization of 5 other outposts to follow shortly. Tkufa shel nes, she said, a period of miracles. Let's be reminded of some of the ingredients of this ongoing miraculous period. On that very day, my neighbors, John and Rachel Goldberg Poland, wore tape marked Day 275 on their hearts. On other days, Israeli newborns were delivered in underground parking lots to avoid missiles. My son's chuppah was stopped due to a siren as the bride and groom and the limited number of guests we were allowed to have ran into a bomb shelter. Israeli businesses, especially in the north, are collapsing one by one. And those remaining are barely surviving under ongoing uncertainty, not to speak of schools and kindergartens near the border. Violence is rampant. In Israel proper, among Jews, among Arabs, in the occupied territories, pogroms are no longer an exception, but the new norm. To say nothing of the miraculous days that families in Gaza are experiencing in their Golden Riviera. As I stand here, I can't help but think about 3 dear souls from my closest social circles who we lost in this so-called miraculous period, Tkufa shel nes. God save us from such miracles. We liberals usually don't think in terms like miracles, and understandably so. But I'd like to share here in this family gathering of ours that, like for many of you, NIF holds a very special place in my world, one that's made of brick and mortar, of hard, tedious, sometimes Sisyphean work, yet simultaneously a scene of ongoing wonder and miracles. The late fellow Jerusalemite poet Yehuda Amichai best captured my feelings towards our work that I'm so fortunate to now help lead forward. His poem is titled Miracles. From a distance, everything looks like a miracle. But from up close, even a miracle doesn't look like that. Even someone who crossed the Red Sea when it split saw only the sweating back of the man in front of him and the swaying of his big thighs. I was told that a poem has to be read twice. From a distance, everything looks like a miracle. But from up close, even a miracle doesn't look like that. Even someone who crossed the Red Sea when it split saw only the sweating back of the man in front of him and the swaying of his big thighs. Our daily toils and those of our grantees are precisely that, sweaty backs of activists dedicated to protective presence among Palestinian communities, big thighs stepping up and down the staircase of the courts and fighting for justice, the men and women walking in front of us. That is the NIF miracle, a rare human coalition from all walks of life who work day in and day out for justice, democracy, and equality. A miracle of groups and individuals coming together in shared faith that there is no democracy with an ongoing occupation, and neither will there be a democratic future without civil rights and full equality for all Israelis. To accomplish that, our staff, grantees, and supporters, to accomplish all that our staff, grantee, and supporters have accomplished in this dark time of war and grief, what if that, if not a miracle? But in our tradition, the Talmud says one must not count on a miracle. Don't plan on it. Don't rely on it. En somchin ala nes. Do not count on the miracle. Or, as Prophet Muhammad once told a Bedouin herder, trust in Allah, but tie your camels. We cannot count on miracles. Actually, we must rely on their opposite, strategy. The best response to a miracle-based economy and a miracle-based policy, the best alternative to running off cliffs in hope that the God will save you, is a good strategy. Yes, NIF is a miracle. But much more than that, it has been, from its very conception, the epitome of strategy. In the Israeli pro-democracy landscape, were it not for our foremothers and fathers who almost 50 years ago identified a real missing piece and addressed it, Israel would have not today been a vibrant, powerful, determined peace camp, democracy camp, civil rights camp, partnership camp. Any David facing a Goliath, any Jacob facing an Esau, any Yael facing a Sisra, knows that a working brain and an excellent plan can win even asymmetrical battles. And I think that you, our dearest and most faithful supporters, know better than I do that money is essential, but without a good strategy, decent finances will not go far. The NIF miracle is ultimately the fruition of diligent strategic planning coupled with commitment and tireless execution. Here's a recent example. My friend, Dr. Alex Sinclair, a Jewish educator who wears a kippah embroidered with both the Palestinian and Israeli flag, was sitting in a cafe in Modi'in when someone called the police because they were offended by the Palestinian flag on his kippah. The police detained him, put him in an interrogation room, denied him access to a lawyer, and when they released him, they had cut the Palestinian flag out of his kippah. I think we might have a picture. Yes, this is the kippah that Alex has been wearing for years, and this is how he got it back when he was let out of the police station. When Alex reached out to a group of activists for help, within minutes, I was able and proud to connect him to the Civil Society Protection Hub, the interorganizational infrastructure hub that NIF established so that people like Alex have immediate legal representation, support through the media storm that soon engulfed him, and anything else he might need in those confusing days. Soon after, NIF grantee Mechazkim recreated the kippah as a sticker with the words, "We were destined to live together." Mechazkim activists handed these stickers out to thousands of participants at the It's Time People's Peace Summit, an event that NIF helped establish, staff, organize, and support. A few days later, I tried bringing those stickers into the Berl Katzenelson conference in Tel Aviv. I was stopped by security, who found the stickers in my bag and confiscated them. Again, just because they featured both the Israeli and the Palestinian flag. With the help of the conference organizers, I recovered the crushed stickers from the garbage can and spoke publicly about the incident that same day. All of this is nothing compared to Palestinian friends who have to wave watermelon posters because they fear the consequences, rightly fear the consequences of waving a Palestinian flag, which is legal to do in public. And clearly, nothing compares to the daily reality of discrimination, government-sponsored violence, and even threats to their lives. An age of miracles indeed. Then, when a kippah is cut in the Jewish homeland, and when watermelons are suspicious, and even stickers are a security threat. The Hub and our grantees are not the product of a miracle, but result of tireless work, of forward thinking, and ongoing collaborations towards a common cause. From afar, it may look like magic, but I am proud of the sweat that has gone into creating and funding this unprecedented coordinated work. So many excellent philanthropies are out there, doing the sacred work of much-needed charity. Actually, very few of us, if any, can't afford to somehow engage in tzedakah. Our tradition, our parents, I know my parents and I think your parents too, taught us to always look out and support the needy, but respectfully. Our NIF story is a different one. It is a story of philanthropy aiming to be as strategic as possible, as immune as possible to fads and trends, to respond not just to the immediate crisis, but to plan for possible futures, to look at NGOs as a breathing ecosystem. Here in this room, counting on miracles just doesn't cut it. Bathing in an intoxicating celebration of occupation, living in constant multiple front war, defining our most challenging time as miraculous ones, this will never be our way. Our path forward, however, is proactive strategy and deep thinking, implementation to ensure democracy, justice, equality, and peace for all Israelis and for our Palestinian neighbors. Leading forward, just like our name demands of us, for a new Israel, Yisrael Chadasha. Let us hear Yehuda Amichai once again. From a distance, everything looks like a miracle, but up close, even a miracle doesn't look like that. Even someone who crossed the Red Sea when it split saw only the sweating back of the man in front of him and the swaying of his big thighs. So please, put your hands together and join me in celebrating our wonderful grantees, our excellent staff members, and above all, join me in celebrating all of you, the members of this miraculous extended family. Toda, shukran, thank you.